amazing, the variety of taste in honey. You don't realize it. They all have kind of a honey undertone and that is common amongst them, but then and to come up with the fact that the honey that we had been getting was tied for the top out of the 20 was very, very, very pleasing, to say the least. All right, we were going to take, we purposed to take one person and help them. Once the question, how many for how long, was answered, to kind of go through and help get them prepared in front of everybody else. Now, Matt was going to do it. He didn't show up, so Teresa said she would. And so we were just going to take as far as we can with the time we have and just start. And so now, what the premise I'm going to lay out here, we don't know what we're preparing for. So it's just what you desire. But one thing I would like to lay out is I want to assume that your go bag is already done. In hindsight, I should have addressed the go bag first, because the go bag is for like 3 days. There's a premise. If you had to pick up and leave where you are now, you would have close to 3 days worth of supplies with you. So
you did have a sheet with the go bag, list of items in the go bag.
That was last week.
that was one of the for those of you that are new, it's one of the handouts that'll be on the email. It's called Go Bag, and now the list is not for the purpose of saying you have to have all of this. It was a really exhaustive list just to make you think about what you need, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You don't know it. Your imagination doesn't think of it because it's maybe foreign to you. But the same thing with this list I handed out today. It's just like that. It's not all inclusive, but it's kind of exhaustive list. I don't mean to say that to be prepared you have to have everything on this 9-page list I gave you today. It's just to make you think about what do I really need. So anyway, so for the sake of today, I'm going to go under the assumption that you already have a go bag. So how many for how long? So how many for how long?
Okay, so I mean, I know we're supposed to ask the Lord. It wasn't like the audible voice of the Lord came to me, but this is what I got. 7 people for 7 months initially. But for me, I want to look kind of with Jeff, like sustainability, gardening, working the land for long term, but kind of short term. 7 people for 7 months is what I got.
Okay. Well, just in general terms, if you look up FEMA's recommendations for stored food for an adult, if you take, it's very simplistic, and they say dry food, sweeteners, dairy, whatever. Take all that combined, and it's about 390 pounds per average adult.
For how long?
For a year. So you need to divide that by 12, multiply by 7 to kind of come up with how many pounds of food that is for you.
It's about 400 a year per person. So 2,800.
Yeah, per year. And it's 7 months. I gotta hand it to you. You're the first one to come up with an odd number like that. I mean, most people are like 3 months, 6 months, a year. I've never had anybody say 7 months.
Sounds like something the Lord would say.
So, okay, for a year, that'd be, okay, 7 times 7, that's 49. That's almost like 4 years supply for one person. It'd be about the same, so about 1,500 pounds of dry food would Of course, for me, I start thinking about, some people talk about, I think it was Susan that said she had to live for years on just rice. I'm thinking, man, I'm going to prepare a little better than that.
I think she meant she needs rice. That's not the only thing she's gonna live on, but that's like a staple. Like she can't live without rice.
No, she talked about when she was a child, they did live on it, and that actually towards the end of it, they didn't have it stored. They had it in an open, kind of a big bin in a box, and towards the end of that, it was actually kind of wormy and all, but it's what.
More nutrition.
1,700.
Extra protein, yeah.
I actually read somewhere that the full complexity of the nutritional value of rice has to include the animal parts. If you clean the rice really good, like in the West we do, you lose so much of those valuable nutrients and it becomes just a starch, which you can't just live off of starch. But people that eat the rice that's stored out and however they store it, and it comes with and it's so small you don't really see what you're eating, it's all tiny. But literally, all that nutritional value is what makes rice so sustainable for people.
So your brown rice is actually so good.
Oh my God.
So I was gonna do like the master cleanse, the lemonade diet, gravy, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice. Like I was just gonna get on that, like for fasting and cleansing. Theoretically, like I was reading that maple syrup and all that, like that's like all the nutrition you really need for a short period of time. So do you think I could just stock up on those items, and kind of do that for like maybe 20-day increments, and then like eat some normal food? Like, is that dangerous, or is that possible? Like to really fast?
To buy your time, you mean?
Is it
To
how
buy
you're already
time?
used to a fasted
To buy
lifestyle,
time
you
and
don't
just
need that
to
much.
simplify things. All you really need is maple syrup, which can store for a long time, water, cayenne pepper that can store for a long time, and then lemon juice is probably the only thing that's more perishable, but you can also just buy, I don't know, how long can lemon juice store? Like,
The biggest thing with that is
because that's actually good for you.
you're one under emotional stress, which literally depletes your body of nutrients. And two, you're under physical stress because you need to work. And if you're in a position where you're leading, you're working, you're getting things done, you've got a community, you got to be on your game. If at any time you need to be on your game, that's it.
Yeah, but surprisingly, I've done that for like about 10 days, and I had energy. I felt better
Oh, really?
than when I was eating.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm thinking, and I was just gonna go on it again just to try it out because it actually is good for you.
How
I mean, you
long does
can't.
This means you're really
maple syrup
healthy.
last?
How long does maple syrup? Is it like honey? It's not like honey though.
I don't know how long maple syrup lasts.
A long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying do that for 7 months, but maybe do it for 10-day periods at a time. Do 10 days and then eat for like a month, and then do it for 10 days.
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's a good idea.
I will help you store food. You tell me what you want to store, and I won't argue with you about it. I mean, that's not something I'd want to do. It's like when things are at their worst, I need to be at my best. And so, if you knew this was going to be a few-day event, then I'd say sure. But if you're going to
Like it would be perfect, like this movie, right? 10 days. That's what they recommend. You do this for 10 days. That would solve it. And actually, when I did it, I mean, besides like the psychological part, it's like really, you don't feel that hungry after day 3. It's like when
I
you're
usually do
fasting,
it every 2
but you actually feel better. Like I felt
You do.
better.
When you
Have
do
you done it before,
liquids,
Esther?
well, not that, but when
Just
you
fasting.
drink lots of liquids, for some reason, your brain just gets
Yeah,
really clear.
yeah.
You have so much energy.
Yeah,
It's
you
food
have
that
more
slows you
energy.
down.
Mhm.
So I actually.
I'll
think that's a
agree
good
with
idea.
everything
And
you're
bad
saying.
quality food, like, because if we're gonna store, we're not gonna be storing all organic, and we're gonna do like canned stuff, which is bad for you, and like, stuff with long shelf life is usually not great for you anyways. So this, I would think you would get more nutritional value from it.
My only add to that, because I did a 30-day fast on water only, and I know that feeling of like, it was awesome. Mentally, it was awesome. Physically, I literally was in bed. And I had some other stuff going on. But someone like me who's overweight, if I have some like weight problems, I have toxins. So when I fast, I detox and I crash and I am worthless.
It's
You're
just-
really healthy, so when you fast, I think because you're healthy, your body's good. You
It's
just go into
different though when it's not
ketosis.
just water.
Yeah, it's not just water.
Because when you're water and all you do is drink water, you detox like crazy. Whereas if you
Right.
have, the more elements you have in it, the less
more
of a
calories.
detox
Right.
and the more energy. So
I would just be thinking if one of your 7 people is overweight, they would have a hard time with that.
then she'll
Because
select
they would go
by
into
weight.
like, honestly, I think even with the calories, even with the maple syrup, they're gonna go into some detoxing, and they're gonna have a problem.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's, I mean, that's good input. Yeah, just something I was
I'm gonna
thinking.
educate
To
them.
kind of simplify life too, because if you don't have to cook and prepare food.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just makes life simpler.
That's a huge,
And spiritually, you know, I think it would be a good time to really
It's a
praise
forced-
fast. seek
Time
the
out.
Lord.
Fast.
Just,
You know.
excuse me, Grace, I saw some police lights out front, check this. It went by. I wanna make sure we don't have any surprise parking issues or something.
I parked in front of your neighbor
Yeah.
across the street.
I park on the curb
And,
Yeah, it's fine.
outside of the.
Just for what it's worth, nobody hardly ever parks in our circle driveway out front. Feel free to park out there.
Oh.
Thank you.
That's one of the great things we thought about the house, was the fact that we knew we wanted a bigger house to be able to do a home group.
What's that?
It's like everyone parked on the side.
Yeah. All right. All of y'all, feel free, park in that driveway. It could hold about 9 cars, so. Anyway. So I've never gone after bulk maple syrup, so you're on your own there. I can,
We know that Restaurant Depot has it.
Yeah, Restaurant
he said
Depot's
it's
good
cheap,
price.
So I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
Because
And
I'm gonna start up on this.
they
gas
sure
plant soon.
got your cayenne. I mean,
Yeah.
you get your cayenne.
And you don't need a lot of company.
You don't need, I already
Yeah.
got, I got that
Dash.
covered.
Yeah.
I've done it for like a long time ago though. I wanna do it again.
Yeah.
It's
And
more for
lemons.
health and also just
You'd-
spiritual.
You'd want to put it in a different container than what you'd get the spices in there. I mean, you really need for longevity, you need airtight, moisture-free, and those containers that they have, they may be, I mean, they're thin plastic containers. I'm a big fan of mason jars with the absolute lid. Like, I like the half gallon and even the gallon jars as opposed to the plastic, because mice and even those meal moths, they can eat through certain thickness of plastic.
With mason jars, do you actually suck out the air too? No, you just kind of do it.
No, you fill them up as full as you can to where it displaces most of the air,
Okay.
and then just make sure you got a good seal on it, and you open it as little as you have to.
Okay.
I bought the ARC seed kits. Do I have to do anything to like store those, or just leave them as they send them?
What kind of seed kit?
The one you recommended, like the $200 one or whatever, that has all the like different things.
They're sealed in foil bags and then they're put in a PVC deal. They're not glued, right? They're just.
I haven't even opened it. They shipped it to me, and I just have it sitting right now.
Seeds eat themselves though, like it's stored energy, and so after several years, it's going to lose. 'cause-
You have to freeze it, basically.
Oh, you have to freeze it? I don't know if freezing.
If you freeze it at 0 or below,
Below 0.
it's kind of like cryonic. It'll last indefinitely.
Okay, so 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0
No.
Fahrenheit?
Below 0.
0
I don't know how to
Fahrenheit
get to that
or below.
degree.
Yeah, most freezers don't.
Chest freezer, your freezer in your house should get to 0.
Really?
Seriously.
Oh, okay.
But you want to check it, because if you're not at 0 or slightly below,
It's
you're
gonna
not
eat
doing the
itself.
job.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people think that, if their thing's hard, it's frozen and it's going to last forever. But I can tell you that bacteria will grow at 10 degrees. And you could actually have something frozen that'll go bad.
I was just gonna add to your, my family, they have a bunch of lemon trees in California, and when they juice all their lemons, they freeze them. And so if you have your freezer is, your electric for your freezer is part of your plan, you can freeze tons of lemon juice in glass jars or whatever, cryogenically,
Except
but that'll
if-
last.
If it's glass jars and when you lift it out, you have to kind of let it cool.
Yeah, you gotta
Otherwise
be
it
careful with
cracks.
glass. Yeah, and you get to leave space in
An
there.
ice cube, you bring those tubes and then you just save those ice cubes.
Yeah, good.
That's good.
If you're talking about gallons and gallons of lemon juice.
So how much time are we doing per person? Just like, should I ask
We can
questions?
spend whatever we need to spend.
Um,
Well, I don't think we're gonna get done with you tonight, but,
okay. So I was just thinking of just, because you have these categories already, like in your list. I'm not gonna go through the details, but just kind of asking you some questions for my particular situation, or how do you want to do
what,
it? Do you have
what I'd
questions?
like to cover first is your location.
Okay.
Since you're talking 7 months for 7 people, you would need a location. You're not gonna do that on the run or like with a go bag for for 3 days or whatever. So I have had, questions on location, that we've covered in general before, but I'm gonna ask them again. How much space, I'm gonna read these questions right quick and you can just, respond as you need to. How much space do I have for storage? How much space will I need? Can I create more space by build, dig, rent, or move? Can I do what I need to from where I am? Can I modify where I am if I need to modify? And what can I afford? What's my budget? All of that evaluates, like, can I do what I need to do from where I am now? And I think 7 people for 7 months is, you talked about having a basement you're not using. In the worst case scenario, you just have to make it a little drier. I mean, you could put insulation on it to stop condensation and then put in a dehumidifier and make that space suitable for storage, and that wouldn't be real expensive. Definitely be less expensive than moving. One thing you have in your place, in your favor, is the solar and the water. So you gotta have an alternative source of water, so that's all good. Any comments on your location?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it at my house. You know, I think the Lord provided my house. It's pretty suitable for this kind of stuff because I have 2 basements that aren't used now. So my question is, I think I talked to you about it, Terry, already, is they're unfinished right now. So I'm just wondering, before I massively store, if I should finish them off. Because like the last basement, I feel like I'm supposed to hide people, and I wanted to do like some sort of like, not trap door. What are those called?
Secret door.
Secret door.
A secret door and a hidden wall.
Hidden wall. Should I invest in doing something like that? Because that's quite, like, I've been watching YouTube videos on how to do that. It's something that's expensive, but I might as well, if I'm gonna do it right, I might as well get the areas finished off right, like with the secret door and stuff, so I can hide people and hide like things. Should I do that now, or should I just store?
I would do it now. I would get a little bit of what you're gonna store just to get yourself to where you're a little bit ready, but maybe not all of it.
Okay.
But yeah, now, if you have the money now, is much better.
So you found designs for that on YouTube?
No, I just watching like YouTube videos. They have people who do that, but it's extremely expensive. Like I wanna like because Che helps me. He's my maintenance guy. So just do it low cost. You know, it doesn't have to be very sophisticated, but just as long as it's not like if a person comes and raids my house, they're not gonna know that there's an extra level because my house is 5 stories. So 3 stories are finished off, and then there's 2 basements. And my last basement, like nobody would guess it's there.
Right.
I mean, it's just really odd how, I mean.
Well, I've got a design
You have a
that I
design?
feel that I'm.
Then maybe we can talk
Yeah.
after the meeting. So I might as well just do it right, because I don't wanna have to do it later, have to move stuff around, and
Right.
I might as well finish off what I need to. Yeah, and then massively stock up.
Just FYI, Jeff is an architect.
Oh, you are? You're an architect?
Was.
Oh, okay, cool. Then maybe I can, have you come over, and I'm just thinking,
Sure.
even like, with my solar panels, my solar panel is like 1,800 square foot. you know, it takes up my whole backyard. Can I use that as space too, for something? It's kind of wasted space now. Like to store something, maybe
Underneath the
maybe just
solar panel?
water, maybe just like rainwater. I could just put in those rain barrels, have it under the solar panels.
It's gonna freeze in the winter.
The rain barrels?
Yeah.
Is that a problem for the water to freeze in the winter?
Wouldn't be
If you
usable,
need it to
but
run, if you need,
Well, I have the lake. That's just kind of, because in case maybe someone contaminates the lake water.
It's not, it's better than nothing. Ice is better than nothing.
You could always defrost
Yeah.
ice. You could just boil it and it.
I wouldn't leave it out in the open like that or store it where it's in plain sight or whatever
Yeah,
with
that's
your
the only thing.
basements. I would keep everything inside, in your control, as possible. You have the lake, yes, but you're gonna have to filter it. I would have an overage of filter capability.
What's the best way to store water inside the house? Because I'm not gonna, the lake is kind of a backup. Like if for 7 months, I probably don't even need to really tap into the lake water. I probably would just store water. Just like,
Well, you can't get an IBC. I'm a big fan of IBC containers.
What is that?
An IBC container.
Yeah. It's okay, I'll Google it later.
Grace will get you one of our a pitcher in our warehouse. It's a 275-gallon container. It's plastic with a metal outside where you can stack them up. We stack them 4 high in our warehouse. And we have like 100 of them full of water in our warehouse. But anyway, I'm a big believer in keeping quite a bit. There's a cop just went by again. Wow. I wonder what's going on. I'm a big believer in keeping it in your basement or a garage. I think I talked about in our garage in Brookside, we had 2 IBC containers, one stacked on top of the other. And of course, you stack them empty and then you fill them up, but that was 550 gallons and like 12 square feet. So it didn't take up a lot of room, it was just over in a corner. And, but if you don't have a garage available and you need to put it in your basement, then most doors going into basements are narrow.
Yeah.
This one here, we have 30 inches, but light just came on out there. What's out there, Grace?
nothing.
Okay.
so,
That's why you need a dog, sit at the door and bark at you.
It's happening.
so Terry, for 7 people for 7 months, how much water do I need? Like if I don't depend on the lake is a backup source, how much should I store?
You can get recommendations of anywhere from 2 gallons to, I think the average American uses like 45 gallons per person per day.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, you know, you're
Wasteful.
talking,
That's wasteful.
you don't, yeah, you don't have to keep that much. I mean, for Grace
It's
and
not just
I,
for drinking, you gotta shower, you gotta flush the toilet, I mean, all that, right? Or, so what's, so they say
Yeah.
45 gallons per day?
no, I think you could get by on
5 gallons?
easily on 20.
20 a
But-
day.
But,
It's a lot of.
I mean, it
That's
depends
a
on
lot.
what, you know, depends on,
But that kind of stuff, like drinking, I would store, everything else I just use the lake. Flushing, bathing even.
yeah. You can get these 300-gallon tanks that are made to go in your basement. They're only 27 inches wide where you can get them through a door and down in there. They fold up and they're lightweight, but yet, and they're tall. They're 27 inches wide, but then they're like 6 feet tall. And so you can get several of them. You're only limited by what you can afford. They cost about $300 a piece. though.
How much are your IBC containers? How much do they cost?
Empty ones, food grade ones, I can sell them to all for $125.
$125. Good thing about my basement, it's really interesting. It actually has a garage in the back of my house. So there's a garage that you can actually go into the basement from the garage. It's a walkout. So I could probably store at least one of these IBC containers in my basement garage. Maybe two.
Well,
You've got a garage door. you can put-
Yeah, it's a garage door. Basically, I have two garages stacked on top of each other. One is facing the front of the house and one is facing the back.
yeah, that's a little
It's a nice
different.
setup.
Yeah, it's a nice, I mean, the house is perfect for this, I think. So,
Is it 8 feet, is the ceiling 8 feet high?
in the garage, it's a pretty standard, I mean, it's not like this.
Well, no,
what's the
this
standard?
is
Yours
like
is a high
nine-
ceiling.
this
What's the
is-
standard? I think it's 8 feet.
Well, you could stack two,
Oh,
they're
you can
45
stack
inches
two for
high.
8.
They're 45 inches high, so two of them is 90 inches, that's 7.5 feet. And so, yeah, if you can stack two with
That should
the same
probably
square
be two.
feet, then it's to your
It's
advantage. to do that.
275 times 2, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's 550 gallons, you could put in just a small space. Now, Vivian last week wanted to talk about security, so I was gonna talk about security for your house. And, coming out of that video, I'm just gonna say again, I think the only true security is community. I don't see how you can get a whole community, even if it's in Lake Terrace. There's a lot of people in there that don't belong to IHOP that are unbelievable. I just don't see how you could get a whole community in the city.
Yeah, that's what Santi was saying the first time, like, how do you do that?
I don't know. That's why for me, I have a big hunger to be involved in part of a community that is outside. I want to be close. I'd rather be less than an hour away. I mean, right now, that's way out there. But still, most scenarios, though, that I see happening or that's preparing for are slow, gradual degradation, as Jeff was talking about. You just need to be able to keep honest people honest. You don't need to deal with, I mean, I don't think the likelihood of you being able to take on a mob coming at you is not very great. And so I don't think you have to or should necessarily think about that. I do think that you should have the ability to protect yourself, though, as the house full of ladies, which I assume yours is as well, and that you should have 3 different weapons. You should have a handgun that you can get really comfortable with, that has enough knockdown power to do the job if you need to. I think you should have a short pistol grip type of shotgun. I would suggest for you ladies a 20 gauge pump. You can buy them for less than $300.
I don't know about the short ones.
Yeah,
Those
why
hurt
a
your wrist
short
bad.
one?
Just get a I mean, what's
Great
your-
shot it just fine.
It's
But-
harder to
really?
use the
Must
short
be-
ones. I
must
have
be
like a
early.
normal shotgun, 20 gauge. I mean, what, I don't understand the.
I'm just telling you what I recommend. Get what you want.
Wait, what was your thinking? Just because
Yeah, what's
close
the
quarters?
difference?
It's maneuverable. I mean, best case scenario, you don't use it at all. But the pop on a shotgun is a universal language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. You're gonna get. I mean,
You know what's coming.
but then in them, I would load 2 buckshot, 1 slug, 2 buckshot, 1 slug. That way, in buckshot, you don't have to be a marksman. It could
Yeah,
broadcast out, but if you need to shoot through a wall, the slug would do it. So I recommend you have both buckshot and slug ammo. And then I'd have a rifle, something that would shoot further if you need to.
You know, David Rainier, he recommended a .308 Savage 10 FC PHS. You know what that is? So I
Yeah,
went to Cabela's. It's crazy. It shoots accurately half a mile to a mile. It's a sniper rifle.
I know it.
Is that overkill or?
For you, yes.
I couldn't even lift it. I mean, I couldn't comfortably hold it.
Yes.
It's like, Yeah, it's pretty.
It's overkill money-wise. I mean,
It's like
the
$1,000.
rifle's $1,000, but for it to be effective for what it's made for, you need to spend $800 on the scope, and so you're looking at about $1,800. And it is, I mean, yeah, I've got a couple of them, but it's the right tool for the right job. I mean, out in the country,
Well,
out in the country where you have long
right.
shot capability,
If you're in the country.
it makes sense. It's not a hunting gun. It is a sniper rifle. Therefore, sniper rifles that are made for long accuracy are heavy. They have a heavy barrel, and they're made for accuracy. So it's
I
Not,
know
not
that-
necessarily for the neighborhood, though. I mean,
right.
if you just
No.
need to shoot across the street, you don't need that.
Yeah.
I mean, something. When I'm talking rifle, I would get something like the ammunition would be like a 270 or a 308. Yes, but you can get, or even like a Ruger Mini 14 uses the ammo 223, which is the same as an AR-15, but it's a lighter weight gun that costs less, that will do everything in an AR-14, that is much more durable than an AR-14.
What's the ammo on that one?
It's 223, just like an AR-15.
So I have an AR-15. Do you think I should invest in an AK-47?
I would, just because an AR-15 is a kind of a finicky animal it's hard to make. You have to have tools and all. An AK-47, it's known to, you can throw it in the mud
Yeah.
and it still keep on going, and it's and you can take it apart in less than a minute without any tools.
What kind of handgun and 20 gauge would you recommend?
A 20 gauge would be a Mossberg, is affordable. You can get one for less than $300.
What's it-
Mossberg?
How do you spell it?
Mossberg, Mossberg. They're known for their inexpensive, decent quality pump shotguns. And you can buy them. I don't know what model they are. Model 500, I know is the full length version, but I don't know what the pistol grip model number is. But anyway, you can get them anywhere, and they're affordable. And as far as a handgun, I like 45 semi-automatic, 45 ACP. If you can handle that much gun. I know Grace, I asked her when she started shooting, I think it was a year and a half ago or so, if possible to try to get to where she could shoot a 45, and she did and has done so comfortably. She was able to shoot what she uses is a Springfield Armory XDS. Yeah, I showed that to Vivian and Teresa. It felt pretty good, didn't it?
Well,
We
we
haven't
didn't
shot
shoot
it yet.
it. The
We
grip
have to
one.
go shoot.
Y'all ought to twist Grace's arm and get her to take y'all out to the shoot range or something.
Yeah, we can.
She could
Wednesday
actually-
is ladies' night. It's free. That's when we go.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, and we can take, yeah, if y'all do that, we could send 2 or 3 different guns for y'all to try.
Oh, yeah.
That's-
It'd be fun to go with Grace.
At some point, I can take y'all out to our place out in the country and we could shoot everything we want to shoot.
Handguns don't really kill people, they just kind of stop them.
They
No,
They kill
45.
45 would kill someone.
Because I remember I went to
Maybe
the
not a
shooting range and
22.
they're like, whatever you're shooting with, it's not gonna kill anyone.
What was it?
I don't know, I don't
22,
remember.
22.
Okay,
Probably
so-
22. That,
But if you shoot
When they
in the
look, they were
heart
looking at
or-
your chart, probably. It depends where you hit them.
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, 22. It'll just make somebody mad. It'll take them a
But
while.
you
to
shoot it in the
think
right
that-
place, like in the heart.
Oh yeah, in the heart or stick it right behind their ear. I mean,
But then you have to be a really good shot.
Now, if you shoot a 45, that's like, I've heard a 45, you can hit somebody in the arm or shoulder and it's knocking them backwards. I heard a guy at Cabela's actually told us the story. He'd just come back from Afghanistan 2 weeks prior to us being there. And the guy behind the counter was showing this lady next to me a gun and brought out a 9mm. And I just said, if you can shoot a 45, get one. And then he told the story that he had been in Afghanistan and had a guy, a rebel had come towards him on the inner city, and he had shot him twice, just bap bap in the chest. And the guy just blinked, dropped his AK and blinked and just looked at him for a minute, kind of stunned. But it didn't knock him down. And then the guy got mad and bent down and got his AK and was coming after it again, and he just ran. It's scary. He didn't have enough firepower on him to take the guy out. And so that lady ended up getting a 45. But you could one shot with a 45 and they're going backwards.
So a 9
What
is
about a
not
9?
gonna do that.
Depending on where you no. I would, if you can handle a 45, do so. I mean, you're
I
not,
can barely handle a 22.
what?
No, it was like, no, it's just the reverberation. Maybe it's because I'm not very good at this.
Well, a 22 just doesn't do much for reverberation. A 45, well, a 9mm get a little bit, but a 45 will.
I am in
it'll wreck
trouble.
you.
It's 45 if it's not much worse than the 22.
It's definitely, even a 9.
Well, it's part of how you hold it and how you stand and all that. Grace could help you with that.
It's your stance,
I mean-
and your support.
Look at Grace. She's a little thing about 110 pounds, 110 pounds or less, you know? So that's why I was really,
out with weights and stuff.
she throws me around all
Oh,
day.
okay, that's enough of a weight.
Hey.
So with hunting, what's a good hunting gun, just in case you have to like go deer hunting for meat? What's
I like 308. It is a good, well, the reason I like it is because you can get, like military surplus, 308, 30-06. As long as you buy, if you don't buy the exotic stuff like 270 or 300 Weatherby and all that kind of stuff, is just expensive, really expensive. Where if you get 308 or 30-06, 223, I mean, you can use 223 for a lot of hunting. That mini 14.
So the AR-15 you could use.
Well, you know what, an AR-15, just by the looks of it, is very conspicuous looking. It looks like an assault rifle, and you'll get some harassment, or if you had a mini 14 sitting in the back seat of your car on the way to the woods,
Yeah.
and you got stopped, a cop wouldn't think twice about it. You have an AR-15 back there, he's gonna be suspicious of you.
But you could technically hunt with the AR-15, right?
Absolutely.
I'm personally not gonna plan on any hunting, because I think that's gonna be the first resource to be depleted immediately. Because I think how many people in the city know how to hunt? And
Not
every,
very
oh yeah, there's tens of thousands of hunters in Kansas City.
There's a lot.
And there's.
I wouldn't wanna be in the woods.
Yeah, I
You get a
know.
bunch of rookies out there, and shoot it the first thing that moves.
They're all gonna be out there, I mean, as soon as there's like, my family's hungry, I mean,
So
how
you
many
get
guys
your-
are gonna hit
get
the
your
woods and try to hunt?
Guns
Yeah.
through military surplus, is that what you said?
No. No, I would buy even a handgun. A 45 is a military round. 9mm is a military round. 223, like an AR-15, 223 is, 12 gauges. Any gun that I buy, I would get it in a round that is military round, because then it's possible for you to get military surplus ammunition.
So
You
what
don't
do
buy
that
it
mean,
from
military
military,
round?
it's just readily available in bulk. Anywhere you wanna go buy it.
What does that mean, military round?
The military
Military
uses it.
uses it.
So you just have to go and ask, is this military round? Or,
I can tell
It's
you
just
what
all-
military
yeah,
rounds. I just
it's
gave you a
9
list of
millimeter.
military
Oh, okay.
rounds.
so you could buy the guns anywhere is what you're saying?
Yes.
Just, you have no
Ju-
suggestions as to where to buy it, just get some.
If you're preparing correctly, you're gonna spend a lot more money on ammunition than you are on the gun itself. In my opinion. I think you need to think about buying a lifetime worth of ammunition for practice, to stay practiced and everything, because ammunition will
Only go up.
not be available after a while.
It's already almost not available. Like Walmart, like they're out of 22.9.
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Permanently?
No, it's just like every time it comes in or flies off the shelf. And
There's
even
guys that know
Cabela's-
when they deliver it and
yeah,
they're
they
there
just go
waiting
and
on
take
it.
it, buy everything, so it's already hard to buy.
So
Even
where do you
Cabela's-
get the ammunition?
I mean, you can get it at Cabela's, you can order online, but I'm just saying that it's even now we're relatively at peace, people are stocking up. The government is hoarding it, and individuals, everyone's stocking up. So like at, Matt yesterday, he went to Walmart, he told me everything was gone. There's nothing on the shelf.
I've never seen anything on the shelf, every time I've gone.
Well,
They've never
in the
had
last
it.
year or
Cabela's
so,
has-
but
has
ever
certified
since,
ammo.
Well, yeah, the
that
last-
wasn't the case until that thing happened in Connecticut in December of 2012.
Right.
After that, I mean, in November 2012, 22 was, you could buy that everywhere. And it was like 4 cents a round. Now you can't find it, and if you do, you're gonna pay at least 20 cents a round for it. I mean, it's been an awesome investment. So, not all rounds like that. Everything, guns and ammunition went up exponentially right after the thing in Connecticut
Sandy
happened.
Hook.
But a lot of it's come back down to reality now. I mean, you can buy 223 now for 40 cents a round. You can get a-
Yeah, I bought, a couple days ago, let me see, it was how many rounds? 50 rounds for $14 for 223.
50,
50 for $14.
that's 70 cents a round.
Wow, your numbers thing is fast.
But that was just at Cabela's, you know. I brought some people there and I.
Yeah, if you'll purpose sometime, we can sit and get you like cases, like
Yeah.
1,000 rounds, you can get it for $400 for 1,000 rounds, and that's the way to buy it. That's why I say buy something that is military, because you can get a case of it, or two, or whatever, how many rounds you want, and then be done. But 22 is hard to
You can
find.
share like with the new people, what you said, David Rainier was saying that one bullet was worth a week's wage in a war-torn country. I thought that was
David
really
Renier,
interesting.
who does our home security videos on our website, he spent 30 years in the Special Forces military. And he, 4 different times he was in what he calls meltdown situations, where there was either war or economics or political upheaval was going on. So everything was in shambles. And 2 of those times, he was able to trade 1 bullet for a day's wage. And just for y'all that are new, he said in those situations, the top 5 things of value in a chaotic situation are: number 1 was ammunition, number 2 was antibiotics, number 3 was portable fuel, and you can, portable fuel, that could be candles, that could be
Flashlights.
huh?
Flashlights or not?
Fuel,
Fuel.
candles, sterno canned heat, little propane, screw-on propane bottles, or, gasoline, small containers of gasoline, just portable fuel. You can use your imagination in any portable fuel, for cooking, heating, what have you. Number 4 was portable food. not subject to weather. And number 5 was boots.
Boots, yeah.
Boots. I mean,
I learned my lesson on
Amazon.
boots when I bought some boots at like a rancher place. And I've had them for like 12 years.
Are they like,
And I spent $120.
are they like
Most of them I
cowboy
spent on
boots?
shoes,
Or are we
but-
talking rain boots? Or what kind of
Boots,
boots?
like-
Or cowboy boots, but.
well, like
Not really.
military kind of, tough boots that you can walk or be outside, or
Timberlands?
work boots, huh?
No, not like Timberlands.
No.
Red-
Marine boots.
red
You want
ones.
tall, you want
Like
height,
marine boots.
you want soles, like
They're
thick
not too
soles,
heavy.
you want height, and you want to spend money.
They're not too
That's
heavy.
what
I'll tell you what I did.
Quality.
Once at a thrift store, there was a bunch of military stuff there, and I picked up 20 pairs of barely used marine high lace-up boots, below and nothing. So I mean, you're just limited by your imagination.
Why antibiotics? Like what kind of?
I mean,
Injuries.
all the common ones like, well, I mean, you got penicillin, moxicillin,
I never used, so I don't know anything about it.
You can't get them here, right?
oh, you can get them any number of ways. You can buy them from, actually, the most prevalent way to get them and get them the cheapest is to go to, like, look online for antibiotics for fish.
Oh.
They go by the very same names and some of the same dosages that, and but they'll have human value if and when
What's the
things go
shelf
bad.
life for antibiotics?
I don't know off the top of my head. I hope it's long, because I've got some. I've got a friend that was, used to run the animal division of Pfizer. And so every now and then he gets me some good-sized containers of them.
Pills or injectable?
Oh, no, not injecting. I wouldn't keep that stuff around. I'd get you in trouble. Now, these are capsules. And it was, whoa, one of them was crazy. I think I paid like $30 for one. And then for some reason, it just went through the roof. It was over $1,000 for the container I paid $30 for. He couldn't get any
Wow.
more. He couldn't get any more.
Wow.
All right, we're not making very much headway very fast.
But we're learning a lot. Isn't that the purpose of it?
Well, that's the scenario, and I'll know where we stopped, and then, the challenge with this so far, this is the third meeting, and we've had a different batch of people every time, and so the first time I kind of laid a foundation, like for you that are new, it's important to me that you see the vision for what this group is to be ultimately. And so when I send you the email, if you say, whoa, this is too much stuff, because there's going to be about 14 attachments. Read the vision for the group. It's called PTW Network Vision. Read that, and then what else would be? I don't know. Read that before anything else. So, yeah, we're gonna, to keep from getting bogged down and have to keep from doing a beginning session over and over and over again, that's why we're videoing and gonna be able to put it up on our website. Now, how soon will that be? I don't know. I think I'm still at least 2 weeks away, maybe further. So, hopefully, new people will be interested enough to go back and kind of catch up. So we don't have to keep revisiting. Now, I do not mind getting the same question 5 times. I can answer the same question 3 times in a row. This thing is here, not for me, but for y'all. But I do want to inject here that, partially because of watching that video, but just some new something new just in the last week. I realized that the only way to truly prepare is community. I've heard people around me say it a lot, and I just had faith in what I've done in the past, what I have on hand, and blah, 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 that I wrote a note to myself that I had been naive. I'm prepared from a thing standpoint, but from a structural community standpoint, I haven't done hardly anything. And so there's an aspect of this that we're going to journey together. I'm not going to sit here and say I know it all. There's a few things that I can help you keep from having made the same mistakes that I have. There's a lot of that. I can help point you towards where to buy stuff cheaply or give you my opinion on some things. But as far as true preparedness and like from a community perspective, I think we're going to all discover that together. Not that we're all going to be in the same community. I'm not trying to say I'm going to try to get y'all in my community or any of that. I'm not saying that at all. But I think we can draw the definition of what we call a community up together and maybe have some kind of agreement there.